It's episode 86. On tonight's episode, we're talking all about Pokemon Go with Adam Leonard from megadads.org, plus your questions and more. Now to myself, Zach, cue the music. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Dads Podcast. My name is Zach Erickson, and tonight is July 13th, 2016. Joining me tonight, as Justin is gone away, is the king of VGTribune.com, Jesse Waldock. What's going on, Jesse?
Speaking of missing people,
It's
I thought I'd get a jump on that segue so you don't ruin it for someone else.
Yeah, right on, man. It's good. Justin, where is Justin? Is he like in Ireland again? I don't know where he's on vacation somewhere, I think.
Boston again? I don't know. I don't think he told us this time.
Yeah, I don't know where he is.
Because every time he does, we end up picking on him.
Yeah. Joining us as well, I'm coming in hot for some reason. Anyway, joining us as well is Adam Leonard from megadads.org. What's going on, Adam?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's great to have you back. We've got your art on our Patreon every single month, but
That's right.
it's great to have you back.
I'm like an honorary Nintendo dad.
Yeah, man. It's awesome. I love seeing your stuff every month. Seriously, it's
Thanks.
so great. And you've got something in the works as well, obviously, for this month.
I do.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I don't think that's a secret anymore, right? You guys have unveiled your new game, right?
Yeah, so it's Donkey Kong Country, if everybody's playing that this month for the Retro Rewind.
It's a secret to everybody?
Yeah, I've been playing it, by the way, and I've never really played it all the way through. It's a freaking good game.
Oh, man. That game is awesome.
It's so good.
I remember liking the early minecart levels, but by the time it gets to the end of the minecart levels, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm so tired of these.
That is exactly where I'm at right now, is the minecart levels. So totally. Yeah. So yeah, it's good to have you on the show, man. And
Thank you.
And we've got a whole lot of Pokemon Go talk and not much else. So if anybody out there is going to be salty about Pokemon Go talk, this is not the episode for you. But if you are like the entire United States, then I think you're probably going to enjoy it. I don't know.
Sorry, Canada.
Hey, man, I've got it. I don't know what their problem is.
UK, sorry.
Yeah, we will head out. We'll head straight into the news and
all of Asia.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it right now. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Germany got it today, so that's good for Canada. Yeah, Germany got it today. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else announced. My guess is that the next couple of weeks we're just going to see little countries. It's funny, like Germany only, right? It's like, okay, well maybe we can bear to add a little bit more weight to the servers. I don't know.
They're really trickling it out, huh?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know about Android, but that as an Apple dev, they do have that many little bitty regions. It isn't just 4 big regions like Nintendo does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Apple's like that too. I think it's by country.
Yeah, well, Apple is like that, but Android probably is something similar.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm not sure, but man, it's Pokemon Go is officially a thing. Everybody, it's crazy. I can't even imagine what it's like in the States where it's actually officially released. But there is a local.
Kinda crazy.
There is a local club. I saw just on Facebook today. There's actually like a local, like, I don't know if it's a bar or a club or something. Pokemon Go isn't even out here yet, and they're having a early release event where they're just like, I don't know what they're doing, but there are already events around this that are sponsored by local businesses, not by like fans or anything, but like local businesses are here. So
yeah, we are a big entertainment district in my area called the Legends.
yeah,
Currently, there are organized Pokemon walks that goes like almost like a tour, a guided tour, to where all the points of interest would be. Namely all the Pokestops and all the gyms.
Oh, that's hilarious, man.
Yeah, I've seen several things like that on Facebook of groups that I'm a part of where they're organizing just 2 days after launch, and they're just getting hordes of people to come and just wander the streets together in unison. So And I hear it's doing pretty good for like local business too.
Yeah, I published something on, I guess it was just my Facebook wall, but it was like basically like a guide for small businesses
Hmm.
like brick and mortar shops, like a guide to Pokemon Go and how to use it to like leverage, leverage it for your
Right.
business and stuff like that. Like check to see if you've got a Pokestop near your house or a gym or whatever. And just like offering discounts to people with depending on if their team is, if your team has claimed the gym right now, then that team can have, a discount on whatever, an ice cream or something, right? Like
Right.
lots of stuff like that I've seen around. So yeah, I mean, Pokemon Go, it's out. It's been a little over a week now that we've had a chance with it. The servers are a little better. Like at least you can play it now sometimes, or at least the illusion
I
of.
haven't had any problem logging in today, though I have still had problems with the app locking up when trying to capture.
Yeah, I think that's the most common bug that I'm seeing as I play it right now is you throw the Pokeball and then you get the spinning wheel, and maybe it will, basically, all, in essence, what I've figured out is if you throw it and it does that, if you would have caught the Pokemon, then you still if when you close the app and reopen it, you will actually have caught the Pokemon. But if it
Right.
didn't catch it, then it got away, basically.
Yeah, in my experience with my lockups, it's been pretty forgiving. That happened actually at a Pokestop for me too, where um, some sort of glitch happened. I was spinning the wheel, spinning it, trying to get my collectibles, and it just kept saying try back later," and I hadn't received anything yet. And then the app totally locked up. I closed it out, opened it back up, and I had all the inventory items already. So I was getting my rewards. It just wasn't showing it. So
Right.
it
Yeah.
seems a little glitchy, but I haven't had any. I mean, granted, I haven't been on it a heck of a lot, but I haven't had any server issues where I am. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It probably depends too on when you're doing it. I've definitely noticed
Hmm.
depending on when you do it, that has a huge impact on how buggy it is. Because
Okay.
a lot of times I'll kind of like look outside and it's, I'm in like the northern half of Canada. I'm like, oh, it's like 10:30 and still light outside. I'm totally going outside, right? And going for a walk. And I'll like walk down to the nearest park or whatever where there's a couple Pokestops and it's just it works great. And then I went on a walk this morning at like 11, forget it. Like like walking the entire time. It's got I wonder if it's even like something that they did in the app where just to improve the experience, in quotes, where they're allowing people to connect to the servers, but you're not really getting anything once you've connected. Whereas last time it was, you were getting the blue screen of, basically the blue screen of death, really, the
Right.
connection issues and try back later. But now you're at least into the app. So yeah. So what are your general sort of impressions so far? I mean, this is kind of going to be a little bit of, this is going to be a little bit different sort of an episode. There wasn't really a whole lot of news other than the fact that Pokemon Go is out. There was news that obviously the international rollout has been paused. Germany was the first one since launch that has received it today. I anticipate that by the end of the week they're going to probably add a couple more. They're really, my guess is that they'll still hit that end of July deadline for all countries. But when, the UK or I don't even think Japan has gotten it yet, have they?
I don't think so.
I think that's probably not going to be for a while. Of all the places that they probably don't want to launch it, like they will probably crash the servers if they launch it in Japan, I think. So yeah, I think that they'll probably still by the end of the month they'll have it everywhere. But I mean, other than the international rollout, the Nintendo stock is through the roof. Even though I don't even think they necessarily had a whole lot to do with this, really. Like,
That was my question because I heard the same thing where their stock just went through the roof, and I said, "Well, that's kind of incidental, isn't it? Because did they really do anything with this game?"
no, I think they were like an advisory role. I know
Sure.
Iwata was part of the initial sort of like when they were in the sort of conceptual stages. I know he was
Sure.
involved,
Okay.
but I don't think. Yeah, I think you're right. I think more than anything, what it is even just sort of showing Nintendo. Because let's be honest about this: if this was not a Pokemon game, the app is so buggy and even the the combat at gyms and things like that is not super great. I If it wasn't a Pokemon game, I wouldn't be playing it. Like,
Hmm.
there's the
Right.
IP is such a huge draw, and I think that that's just demonstrating what's going on to other people. And I think it was on the morning stream that I heard. I think it was they were talking with Veronica Belmont as well, and that this is kind of that the consensus that they had was this is just a demonstration that anytime Nintendo IP is thrown out there, it's going to be a success, right? Just because it's Nintendo, because people want those franchises on their phone. Like, this is a thing that people are still excited about, and so Nintendo, even though they really didn't do anything with it, they weren't really directly responsible. It still bodes well for them, I guess.
There's a lot to be said about identity and
Mhm.
just, the recognizability of, this franchise that people are willing to overlook a lot. And it's such a wide market appeal that lots of people who, I mean, I've never touched a Pokemon game. This is my first exposure to actually playing anything Pokemon related, and I love it.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's just,
It's like
it's easy, it's
it
accessibility. People are willing to overlook a lot of those bugs and glitches because a lot of the chunk of people that are playing this game don't play games.
Mhm.
it's like a Bethesda game. Just
Yeah,
they know there's going to be
exactly.
bugs and glitches, and people just don't care.
Yeah, and
Yep.
so much of the talk that I've seen around this too, from people who generally are not, in the same circles. Like, maybe they play other kinds of games or whatever, but maybe not necessarily Pokemon fans, or at least not hardcore ones. A lot of those people have been like, you know what? I know it's glitchy. I know it's kind of frustrating to use right now, but it's worth going through the glitches in order to be able to catch the Pokemon in my area. And I think, as well, there's a lot of potential that people can see. Like, yes, it's buggy and glitchy now, but they've been so successful with, this been such a hit that they've
Hmm.
got the money to fix it. You know what I mean? And so there's going to be a lot of opportunity to do that now.
And I think the simplicity of it all really helps because even when it locks up, I mean, you close it down, you're back in 10 seconds later. Um, I think just, how easy, and you don't have to be super engaged. It's not something that you have to stare at your screen at and learn all the tech. I haven't even done battles yet. I haven't even gone to a gym yet. I've just gone on my
Hey,
walks.
what level are you at?
I cleared 5 yesterday, so
Oh,
I'm able to go. But I mean, I was always big into geocaching.
yeah.
So this is kind of like a different spin on it, right?
Hmm.
I get my enjoyment just, finding the things out in my world and on like my everyday walk. So, I mean, I think I'll definitely try it, but I think it kind of speaks to how broad appeal this is, where different people are going to get different things out of it.
Yeah.
And I think not having it have such a deep system, which I think will turn off the hardcore gamers, but not having that deep system, that allows it to be a little bit of something for everybody.
Hmm. Yeah, like, there's definitely those people who are out there claiming the gyms and that sort
Hmm.
of thing. Like, I'm already for those people in Canada who haven't jumped in, and, like, I know the people are like, no, I'm just gonna wait. It's all right. It's like, dude, I hate to tell you, but there are already gyms that are being protected by Pokemon with a CP, which is combat power, with a CP of over 1,000, which, I mean, it's going to take people a while to get up, get
You're
up.
a little late to the party, huh?
Yeah, by the time it actually launches in Canada, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be like everybody's going to have fortified. All the gyms are totally fortified and whatever. I've got two gyms within, like, a block either way of my house, and so I actually have been. And one of them is actually my son's school, and so I'll, like, walk over there, and or I can see it from my house, and I'll look, and I'll be like, wake up in the morning. I'm like, ah, dang it, that the freaking yellow team took it over in the middle of the night. I got to go back over there or whatever. So that's kind of fun, but yeah.
Do you see do you see that as an obstacle? It's kind of like when you play any online shooter, like a Call of Duty, where if you're not playing constantly and refining your game, like you'll never be able to compete. Do you think that's going to be an obstacle for this game, especially with that kind of staggered rollout that they're doing?
Yes and no, because I think if there's a bunch of people playing it at once, like I think a big part of it is in order to topple a gym, you can't really go in by yourself.
Okay.
Even if you did have, a bunch of Pokemon strong enough, you kind of have the advantage going in to take over a gym and defeat a team because if you want to fortify a gym, you have to defeat as many Pokemon as you can with only one. Like if it's of your own, if it's the same color. Whereas if you're going up against an opponent gym, then you can take a team of 6 Pokemon to defeat their gym. And
Oh,
the
okay.
more that you defeat a gym, the less or the lower, the more you decrease that gym's level, essentially.
I wondered
Sure.
why the first time I attacked a gym, I only could use one. I didn't realize it was my own color.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why, right? So
And then I attacked another gym earlier today where I could use all 6. It was up against 4 people. Over the top 2 people had Vaporeons in the 1200 range.
right.
And I took one of them out, but the second one got me. So I did end up lowering their score by 1,000.
Yeah, and so basically, and the higher your gym's level is, the more Pokemon you can have defending that gym. So if you have a level 5 gym, that means there are 5 Pokemon that are guarding it, which makes it more difficult to take down essentially.
Hmm.
But where it comes in with groups of people, so if you had a bunch of people who were all fighting it at once, it's going to be easier to decrease that gym level faster. And once you do topple the gym, you've got 3 people who can then put a Pokemon into the gym because you can only put one per gym, like per person.
Sure.
So if you just so like what my problem has been is I'll go over to the gym and defeat it and I'll be like, yes, and I put one Pokemon in there and then somebody comes by and just takes over it by themselves, right? So it's kind of this futile effort where it's almost not it is still worth it because you get experience and stuff like that, but you
Hmm.
don't get nearly somebody else is going to come over and just eat your lunch if you don't have other friends who are also going to back you up with that. So yeah, it's really a good. I like the core concept, like you're saying, Adam. It's very basic,
Hmm.
but I think that that's why it is so successful.
Yeah.
They could have put trading in the beginning. They could have put a bunch of things in early on, but they chose to limit it to the original 150 Pokemon minus the legendary Pokemon, right? And we'll maybe get to that in a second, but so the original 150, so it's got that retro appeal for everybody who's ever played the original games, and then they've limited the functionality for now to just go visit the Pokestops, go visit the gyms. That's it,
Hmm.
and I think it's been really successful for them. So yeah, uh, Jesse, actually for both of you guys, one of the most important questions is what team did you pick?
I picked the red team.
Yeah, right on.
I have not picked one.
Oh, you haven't picked
And,
one.
and the main reason why I picked that one is because while I was still level 4, went out walking with my daughter, and we took the dog with walking around, and we walked by the church, which is a Pokestop, the closest Pokestop to the house, and we saw leaves rustling on the other side of the apartment building on the other side. So I said, "Hey, let's just check this out." So we're walking along the side of an apartment building, and outside one of the doors is this girl, you know, early mid 20s, on her phone, and she looks at me and say, because I'm on my phone, and she says, "You playing?" And I said, "Yep." She goes, "Me too." So she is actually someone who does Twitch streaming, and that's what she does for a job. And she created a Twitter account, PGO Team Valor, and within 12 hours it had over 500 people. So I'm like, oh, so I'm like, all right, that's the team that I'll pick when I return level 5.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah,
And
it's crazy.
so we, she plugged her stuff to me. I plugged our stuff to her. So she's like, I didn't know anyone else in the Kansas City area did what we do.
Yeah, I have I'm a part of probably 3 different Edmonton Pokemon Go like Facebook groups. which is crazy. Like one of them is specifically Edmonton Pokemon Go Team Valor, and it's just people like, hey, we need to go to this location and take these people down right now. Like it's funny, but
I assume that's team selection is something when you first go to your first gym. Is that the idea?
It must.
Yes.
Be, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you hit level 5 and you go to your first gym, that's when you'll be told to pick a team.
Yeah. So I think basically how it works is, what was it? It was 100 and, or sorry. So basically the most popular, best guess is that the most popular right now is like there's already like if you go to the Pokemon Go Reddit subreddit, it's crazy. I actually put a link in the notes as well for this, which I think you guys should just check out as well. But it's like a Google search time interest thing. But basically the red team or blue team is most popular. Red team is shortly after it, and the yellow team is seen as like the redheaded stepchild. I don't know. No fighting yellow team with your whatever. That's fine. But yeah, it's funny. It's funny to see on Reddit the different kind of ridiculousness that's going on between the different teams already. And there's like, no, we have to be like Team Lugia, which is like the peaceful team or whatever. It's really funny, but yeah. So that's basically the game so far. I'm not entirely sure what else to say as far as news. I guess they have said a few things for news. Did you see this, by the way? This popularity and perspective. So essentially, if you look at this is just a bar graph sort of thing on Reddit over time, and it has like it's comparing Pokemon Go with Coney 2012, Gangnam Style, Clash of Clans, Donald Trump, and then Pokemon Go, and like you can see these little blips like all up over the map here, and then Pokemon Go is just like way high, like 3, 4, 5 times higher than some of these things. It's
That's
crazy.
what happens when you have a slope that divides by 0.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. I was driving home from work on Monday and I was listening to news radio, and what are they talking about? Pokemon Go. I get home, I turn on the local news. What are they talking about? Pokemon Go. National news comes out. What are they talking about? Pokemon Go. I mean, it's just it exploded overnight.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I mean, no wonder they have any sort of, no wonder they're having server issues. You know what I mean? Like it seems like the kind of thing that would be almost impossible to really be able to deal with, to know that they were going to have this much interest this fast, especially because, I mean, like go back to our E3 episode and we were talking about Pokemon Go, and I was really skeptical about it. Where it's basically like, you know what, go look at Ingress and then tell me you're excited about Pokemon Go, right? That was my opinion on it, and that was how I was kind of looking forward to it. It was just like, you know what, maybe this Pokemon skin could do good things for it, but I had no idea that it was going to.
They simplified it just the right way.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Ingress is a convoluted mess.
Oh, it totally is. Like I have no idea what it's even about. It's about secret agents or something. I don't.
Yeah, you protect portals.
Yeah, what does that even mean? I don't know.
It's very similar to what you're doing with a gym, but it just makes no sense because you have no context.
Right.
Where a Pokemon gym, we all have context. We know what that means.
Right. Plus, I think what happened with Ingress, because Ingress, like the Pokestops and the gyms together, like all of those points together are portal locations in Ingress, if I'm not mistaken. And
That's
so imagine
my understanding too.
So imagine if every single Pokestop was also a gym, right? And there were no Pokestops, it was just gyms. Like that would be nuts. And so that, I think, in simplifying it and having the combat be less often, I think is a really smart move that actually helped a lot too, as far as the gameplay goes, where you don't have to go to every single location and fight at every single location. Most of them are just, oh, I'm getting a few Pokeballs. That's awesome. So it is now, just looking at a few other stories that I have here, it's the biggest mobile game in United States history. So that's a thing. 10 million installs on US Android devices alone.
Wow.
The Pokemon Go is the fastest game to reach number 1 on mobile revenue charts. And then they've talked a little bit about future updates and things like that. So a few of the things, like we said before, the trading is coming eventually. they have talked about additional functionality being added to Pokestops and gyms. So they didn't really say what that is, but imagine
Hmm.
maybe you can imagine maybe being able to, if you level up to a certain level, maybe you can add, modules or something to it. So there's a thing called a lure module on a Pokestop that you can actually have additional Pokemon spawn around that Pokestop, which is
Hmm.
kind of cool. So imagine other things, I imagine at least similar to that you could do maybe with gyms or Pokestops. Sponsored Pokestops are another possibility, which I guess that's okay. Like that feels like the advertise, like like when Twitter picked up advertising or something. I don't know, but
Well, if that means that a business can pay them money to say, "Hey, make me a Pokestop," that's fine with me. More
yeah,
Pokestops to choose from.
yeah, I think that's probably just fine. Uh,
What I'd like to see, and the kids, we on Sunday we went to our card shop and played the Pokemon card game. We started that up again. I think I talked about it in the last show or
right.
a few episodes ago, and that this is like full blown Pokemon League. Like there is
Mm-hmm.
there is a leader, and who acts as the judge and just arbiter if there's a disagreement, and so just kids just get together and play the games and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Wouldn't that be funny if this was a gym in Go?"
That'd be awesome. Yeah,
It would be awesome.
I think that's a cool idea. I guess now that you say it that way, I like the idea that businesses could set up shop in Pokemon Go. Basically, you know, it's almost like a. It's yeah. I think it could be good as long as it's not like all the time. But then again, if you're around the business anyways, if you're already within the physical location of the business, then that's probably fine if somebody is able to, pay in order to increase the functionality there. I think that's fine.
I
Uh,
gotta say, I went for a walk during my lunch break the other day, and I went to a Poke Stop, which just happened to be a Korean grocery store. So I found myself standing outside of this Korean grocery store in the rain, just like swiping away at my phone.
yeah,
Felt kind of ridiculous, but
that's awesome.
I was still
Well,
doing it.
and I've seen so many things of like, little of like local like coffee shops or whatever, and they'll have like the little card or the chalkboard sign out front that says, if you place a lure module at our location, you'll get 10% off your meal or something
No
like that.
kidding. That's smart.
Which
It
is very
is.
smart. It's totally smart
Hmm.
because then you're like, my gosh, I'm totally going to come here and have coffee because there's already a lure module here. So that's amazing. So,
Yeah, so today after work, I decided to drive around, hit a few Pokestops in the area, that were outside of my normal walking range. So I drove to the closest park and did my thing. And while I was doing that, and another guy in his beat up truck drove right next to me. I swear, I'm pretty sure he just did the exact same thing and then he left.
that's
Hmm.
so I've
And
had,
then I went to another park where I was following these two kids on skateboards. Got to the spot and all of us had our phone out doing a thing. So
hmm,
Well, that's just it. I mean, with Pokemon Go, it's kind of taken like the internet trend. And we all have these events and these social, things that happen that we all interact with and we all tweet about and we all post about. But with this, everybody's talking about it online, but you see people doing it everywhere you go.
yeah.
The very first time that I tried it over the weekend, I saw like 5, 6 people at the park that I was at,
Hmm.
and so it takes what is typically like an online interaction with people, trending tweets and all that, and it pushes it out into the real world where you're engaging with people that are a part of this. And I mean, honestly, Pokemon Go is like a social. It's like a social movement right now.
Hmm.
And so it just brings that into the real world, and that's really really cool because you can physically see the other people that are experiencing this with you.
Yeah, totally. And like, I mean, some of the things that I've seen so far, again, it's not even out in Canada yet. And there are
Hmm.
already people like groups of like 20 people, 25 people, like all at some local place, all playing this game together. and just chatting it up with each other and having a good time.
Hmm.
I think it's great. And for all the haters out there, I just like it's funny because as soon as something it becomes popular, there's going to be people who are just annoyed with it or
Sure.
whatever. But like I have to say as well, I think I posted a picture of or a screenshot of like my activity level on my iPhone, right? Because your iPhone will like track your steps or whatever.
Hmm.
And I mean, I'm a student, you know, like I don't have a, and I'm a dad. I don't have a ton of time to like get out and be active. Or at least that I thought that was what I thought. Like my, until all of a sudden the great beyond outside is like, you know, beckoning or whatever. But like I probably almost doubled like my activity since this came out. Like my average, I can't remember exactly what my average steps were, but it was something like 6 or 7 thousand steps per day, you know, something like that. And then Pokemon Go comes out, and I'm averaging like 11,000 steps per day, or you know, something,
Fantastic.
which is like insane. The fact
Hmm.
that I'm like looking at my watch here, and I'm thinking, you know what, maybe after I'm done the show tonight, I might go out and walk across the street and see if I can catch something. You know, I I live in a fairly safe-ish neighborhood too, so it's not super sketchy, but yeah, you know what I
You're
mean.
not like
Like it's
kicking over trash can fires looking for
yeah,
your Pikachu.
yeah. Seriously, it's
So another funny thing that happened to me this evening, and I actually tweeted about it when we were done with it. I was talking with my brother-in-law and his wife, who both also started playing,
mhm.
and talking about what we have, what we're missing, and just because we haven't had a chance to talk about this game since it started yet, because we have our paths have been not crossing. So we were talking about Eevee and its evolutions, and his wife mentioned that she hasn't seen the Flareon yet, but she's seen the others floating around. And then, like 10 minutes later, she goes, "Is this what I think it is?" You know, shows me the little radar of what's near, and in silhouette form was that Flareon. So we're like, "Let's go outside now."
Yeah, we gotta
So
go
we actually
now.
hunted it down. We all three found it and started battling it, and then two out of the three of us actually caught it.
Oh, that's hilarious. I was actually I just got back from a walk last night, and my brother sends me a text, and he's like, "Dude, look at this. I was just about to go to bed, and it's a screenshot, and it's the silhouette of a golem
Oh
just
wow!
just out there somewhere." He's like, "I'm leaving my house right now." It was like 11:30 at night. He's like, "I'm going to find it." Nice. So you did get it.
Yeah,
That-
I like how it's kind of nicely animated too
yeah,
for an idle pose.
yeah, I'm pretty impressed with, and even like the backgrounds. I like the cool backgrounds that they have when they show them of the different types. It's
Hmm.
pretty cool. So, but yeah, he just, you know, middle of the night, you know, going out into the, like he lives in kind of a rural town, which is kind of, you know, it's very quiet, but he, he just, you know, into the middle of the night to go and catch a golem. He didn't catch it though. He couldn't figure it out, but couldn't
Can
find
I
it.
just can I just say one last thing about this before we switch topics?
Absolutely.
Um, the greatest thing
There are more
about
topics.
Pokemon Go
Possible.
is we've stopped talking about NX.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude.
For a week at least.
I totally forgot
that-
about NX.
Is
You're right.
is that not the greatest thing ever? We've all forgotten about NX.
Wow.
Just a little bit.
That
We can
is
all
incredible.
stop with the rumors and the speculation and talk about something else.
Yeah, which I mean leads to the last thing that I kind of wanted to talk about. What do you guys think as far as like other than basic polish and making it run the way it's supposed to run, what do you think if you were to say like two or three things that they could add onto this game as initial sort of you know expansion of the game, because they've said that they're going to update the app at least every 2 weeks, right? And they could be adding new content, they could be adding all sorts of stuff. What do you think they could add moving forward? uh Je- Jesse, what do you think? Or if you guys, maybe I'll even go first if you guys don't have anything. Do either of you have anything?
Go for it.
Okay, so I think a couple of things that I obviously the first 150, there are not a lot, or there are some that are missing. The legendary Pokemon, right? The three legendary birds, Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres. Plus, I think the other ones that are missing are Ditto, Mewtwo and Mew, right? And Ditto, it actually is not surprising to me that it's not that you can't find it, because just the lore behind that one is weird. Like, it'd be weird to have one. Um, but I think it's but other than that, I think it would be cool to have a sort of like local events, kind of like what that was in the original trailer, right? Where Mewtwo was like in Times Square.
The raid.
Yeah, it was like a raid boss. Exactly. It'd be cool to have the that sort of an event where you're able to catch the Mewtwo and everybody's kind of got to come together to beat it. I think that'd be really neat. So I think that's one, and yeah, I think I had another one that I forgot about, but just events in general, I think are going to be pretty neat, and having that, and also maybe having additional customizability options for your avatar, like being able to pick up like cosmetic gear in order to customize your avatar, I think would be really good. And I'm surprised that it's so minimal at launch.
That is one thing that I noticed, was how scaled back it was for personalization. So I totally agree with you there.
Yeah.
As far as adding things, I think it would be really smart if, no matter what they add, to still keep it simple,
Yeah.
keep it accessible to as many people as possible. And, like I said, I'm a guy that I've never touched a Pokemon game in my life. I still have not gone to a gym. I've not battled anything. There are so many things about this game that I don't understand, but I'm still having fun with just, the searching aspect of it.
Yeah.
So whatever they add on, find a way to make it simple and not necessary, optional.
Yeah.
So if they're gonna put new features in, don't make it necessary, that you have to engage in whatever these new features might be for people to really enjoy the game. Because I think there are many levels in which people can, get into this, and it can be different things for different people. So as long as they keep it simple and don't make it too hardcore.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Other than that, just more Pokemon, more ways to interact. I think it would be kind of cool if you could see where other people are, maybe not necessarily who they are, but if there was some sort of way to ping other Pokemon trainers around the area, so you can see how many people are doing it. That might be interesting, even if it's like a friends list kind of thing.
Yeah, even if you had to approve to know if somebody's in the area or whatever.
I think that might be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think as well, one thing that would be really cool if they did this is really lean into that sort of staying active aspect, and tie it into like on iOS, tie it into Health Kit. Tie it, use the One thing that drives me crazy is, when I'm in a building or something, like at the mall, and I'm not getting credit for my steps while I'm trying to hatch eggs. Like, it's only based on GPS distance and not on steps. And so, like, there's a pedometer in the phone. There's, maybe have your fitness stats, like maybe tie some fitness stats into that. I think could be really cool. I don't know how complex that is to get into that, but I think it would be cool.
They usually have that stuff pretty easy to get at, at the developer level.
Yeah, so
there's a Health Kit API that just snaps in, and you're able to pull pretty much anything off of it.
Can you imagine if they were to release like essentially like a Pokemon Go Plus, but it's like got like a Fitbit in it or something? Like they'd go crazy with that. I think
and that was mentioned in our line chat, not the Fitbit thing, but using the Health Kit data that's already on the phone, tracking steps towards egg hatching instead of just your meters walked.
Yeah.
Just more stuff to strain your battery, basically. If they could just have it access everything on my phone, like my iTunes and everything, I'd like that sucker to be drained in about 5 minutes.
That stuff's already being tracked anyways, though, because of especially if you have a newer iPhone, they have the fitness. It has like a movement chip that is constantly being used in order to track, flight stairs and movement.
It's on its own processor, so it still functions no matter what app you're running.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So I agree, though. I think that's something they need to fix too, or at least release like a battery pack that's Pokemon Go themed or something. Can you imagine instead of actually fixing the battery issues, they just release a battery pack?
I have walked around with a battery pack on me, plugged into the phone.
I went and bought one. Yeah, I went and bought a battery pack. Right. All right, I'm done.
I thought of what I wanted.
Yeah. Okay, go.
Either turn some of the Pokestops into Pokemon centers,
Oh yeah.
or designate your any location that you want, optimally your house, to be a Pokemon center.
Yeah. In order to be able to heal your Pokemon without using items.
Yes.
Yes.
It may not be instantly. It could be a heal over time. I don't care, but at least give me the opportunity of when I go to sleep and I'm not going to touch it for 8 hours or 6 hours. Let the Pokemon heal.
Yeah. Yeah, that feels terrible to put a Pokemon at a gym, have it be defeated, and then realize, crap, now I have to heal this thing before I use it again. Right? Like you have to spend potions in order to be able to use the Pokemon again.
That's why you got to play pacifist like me. all my Pokemon, they just want a hug.
Yeah, Adam is like the Pokemon professor, where he's just like, I'm just collecting everything, and that's all, and I just want to study them and know and have them all. That's all.
Until he
How
comes
shiny their fur is.
until he comes across the grinning skeleton that taunts him.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. Right on. Well, yeah. Is there any other news or anything? I'm looking through my feeds again. There's not a whole lot of other news going on right now. I think Nintendo. It's again reminder. This is not a Nintendo product. Yes, Pokemon Company, Nintendo owns part of it, but they have not. They're not the ones responsible for this. It's all the people at Niantic and the Pokemon Company, and I think it's great. So.
But I guarantee you, Nintendo right now is scrambling to think of what other licenses they could do something like this with.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Virtual Pikmin gardening or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is are we going to see a bunch of rip-off sort of, not rip-off, but like, imitation GPS games?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a thing.
Well, there are, how there was an APK file out there so people can sideload it into their Android with
right
if it, in the regions that they don't have it in Google Play yet. There is a modded version of the game that, so if someone installs that APK file, it installs a backdoor.
Yeah.
So
be careful, people.
Just wait until it comes out in your region.
Unless you're on iOS, and then just get an American iTunes account and
don't sideload anything.
Don't do it. Don't jailbreak your phone or whatever. But you know what? iTunes account, piece of cake. Just do it if that's, because otherwise you're going to be behind. That is the, unless it's against the terms of service, in which case Nintendo Dads does not endorse that sort of behavior. But anyways, yeah. Do we have anything else that we want to talk about before we get into what we've been playing, which we kind of already did?
I don't think so.
I think that's about it. All right, let's get into it anyways. Wow. Okay, that was loud. At least in my ears. I don't know about you guys.
Yep.
What?
Exactly. So, Adam, since you are the guest today, sir, have you been playing anything other than Pokemon Go?
Yeah, actually, about a week before I was invited to come on the show, I dusted off my Wii U.
Wow. Right on.
Well, I heard Splatfest was coming to an end, and even though that doesn't necessarily mean the end of anything Splatoon, I kind of felt like that fire was started again, and I wanted to get back into it. And that's a game that I'll play, a solid couple weeks, and then I'll take a month or two off, and then I'll go right back in. And that game, I think, was probably my favorite game to come out on Wii U in its entire life cycle. It was just so fresh, no pun intended, but the fact that Nintendo was able to create this brand new IP, which is something they seldom do, and to have such incredible success, and it's another case of simple,
Yep.
Like it's so easy. My wife loves playing it, and she's not a gamer. But it's just, even my 2-year-old son loves watching it with the colors, and it was just like a home run for Nintendo. So I can keep going back to this month after month after month. So I was playing some Splatoon, and then my wife and I actually started another campaign of Mario 3D World, which the two of us liked, those co-op Mario, Donkey Kong style games. So I figured we'd give that a go. So Playing some of the old Wii U games again before I box it up for good.
Nice. You feel like you're boxing it up pretty soon though? Like what do you?
I kind of, with my Wii U, I kind of have months where I play it and then months and months where I don't.
Yeah.
Um, I, I honestly, I feel kind of burned with my Wii U. I'm not a mobile guy, so I don't have a 3DS. So this is like my only Nintendo outlet. So the fact that it cooled off so quickly, and with NX fast approaching, I kind of feel a little jilted with what happened with Wii U. So I'll probably get a couple good months out of it left, and then yeah, I might be done for a while. I mean, I'm sure I'll pick it up again somewhere down the road, but I mean, with NX coming, that's where I'm going to play Zelda. And once that sucker's plugged in, I don't think there's any turning back.
Right. Yeah, seriously.
Hmm.
Yeah, I kind of agree just in that like I've definitely have gotten quite a bit out of my Wii U. I feel like between Smash Brothers and like Mario Maker, I think my son's probably gotten more out of my Wii U than I have,
Hmm.
but I can definitely see where you're coming from. And I totally agree about Splatoon. I've been playing that a little bit lately too with the last is it next weekend that Splatfest is
I believe so.
Oh, I might
Yeah,
end up having to. Yeah.
it's like 21st and 22nd, or 22nd and 23rd. It's a 2 day thing. I thought.
Yeah, you know what I realized is
Or
I'm going to be staying at my parents' house,
oh,
I think, when that's happening. So I might end up having to pack up my Wii U when we go. Even though my dad has a Wii U, I might end up having to bring mine anyways. Then maybe we can even like have two going in one house or something. I don't know.
There
well,
you
because
go.
I don't
because
think it's
your
soon.
account is not on his machine,
Hmm.
and you can't just you cannot log into another Wii U with the same Nintendo Network ID.
Right.
So
Because that'd be way too simple to actually be able to use your account on different devices to
right.
that'd be way too easy. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. He's got one, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Other than that, have you been playing anything else, Adam? Or
No, that's pretty much it.
okay, cool. I've been playing a little bit as well. A whole lot of Pokemon Go. I haven't really had a chance for much else. I did play a little bit more Hyrule Warriors Legends. I've been playing a lot of that. You know, where basically the new DLC pack came out. And you can play as Marin now. So like the Windfish is like part of like it's all Link's Awakening stuff. So she like part of her attacks is like the Windfish comes and like lands on all the enemies or stuff like that. It's pretty ridiculous. Or like it'll swoop through and just destroy everyone. It's ridiculous and it's fun and whatever. So I've been doing that, and I also picked up on sale. What was it? Oh, Skylanders Superchargers, which was the one with Donkey Kong. It was I got it for sale, and it's the Donkey Kong Skylanders one, and I've been playing a little bit of that, not a whole lot. I basically like brought it in the house and immediately was like told Nick, I was like, Nick, I got this on sale. We're not getting into the toys for this. Just so you know, these are the two that we've got. Like, unless we see them for a ridiculous sale, we're not going to buy a bunch of these toys. So we only have the starter pack right now, but it's pretty fun too. The one thing I have to say about Skylanders, and I've heard this before, but I definitely can confirm it, is that the gameplay compared to like Disney Infinity or Lego Dimensions and stuff like that, the gameplay is actually really really fun. Like
Hmm.
fast paced. It's the same sort of third person action adventure sort of brawler type game, but it's really fun, and I really have enjoyed it, especially with the vehicles in this one. You can drive. I just have a car. Like I don't have there are planes and ocean vehicles. I don't know what you call them, like boats and stuff. But I only have the car. But just driving around in that game, it feels really good. Like it's fast, which is good. So I've been playing a little bit of that as well. So that's pretty much all I've been playing too, and a lot of Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Lots. I'm almost level 13, I think. Jesse, what level are you
Oh
in?
wow, I'm midway through 8.
Okay. Yeah, at level 12, No, sorry, I'm a level halfway through level 12. At level 12, you get great balls, which is good
I'm
because
sorry, what?
yeah. So, oh, sorry. So there's different levels of like there's Pokeballs, and then as you try to catch higher level Pokemon,
Hmm.
Pokeball no longer is very effective, and so you need to start using Great Balls or Ultra Balls or Master Balls, stuff like that, in order to
Huh.
be able to um, get the
And
have
and
a higher
and
catch
that
rate.
all is Pokemon lore ever since the beginning. Is just
Mhm.
so.
Sure.
And
Yeah, and like potions and things like that. So potions are like to heal,
then
but
there'll be better potions you can get later on as well.
right,
The-
kind of like like in any RPG where okay, well this healing spell only heals 20 HP, and this one does 50, and this one does 100. Like that, the same idea exists in Pokemon.
Sure.
So yeah, that's basically all I've been playing. What about you, Jesse?
well, I've even though I should be fighting my son to get access to the Wii U so I can continue playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions, I've been letting him have it, and I've been upstairs lately playing on the Wii. You know, pretty much every night since this weekend. I've been marathoning through Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2.
There
Wow.
you
So
go.
Nice.
Pikmin 1 I 100%ed in like 10 to 12 hours, and I'm like 15 hours into Pikmin 2, where there's only 4 regions to explore,
Okay.
but there's each region has several 3 or 4 underground sections that has between like 5 and 10 levels to where you're just going through defeating enemies and collecting treasures. So even though it doesn't sound like a lot, there's a lot of content there.
Hmm.
So the 2 out of the 4 I've completed 100%. The third one I've I finished everything except for one one of the underground areas because there was an enemy I couldn't defeat.
Mm-hmm.
So he was kind of like half phased out of existence. I'm like, I played this game before and I don't remember that enemy, so I don't know what happened with that. So
Wow.
I went out of the fourth region. I've completed 1 out of the 3 underground areas, and the first time I played through it, that's where I got stuck. I came across an underground level that I couldn't beat, so I never finished it. But the thing about that game is, that one introduces the purple Pikmin.
Mm-hmm.
They're heavier, they're slower runners, but they're also stronger. So they and when you throw them, if they hit the enemy, it hits them with an impact, and you can hear the thud, and the screen shakes when it does it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're good for battling bosses, and their strength is of 10 Pikmin.
Okay.
So even though you're still limited to 100 Pikmin, like the very first thing you see is an item that requires 101 Pikmin to pick up, but you can't have 101 Pikmin. So, but you can have 90 Pikmin and 1 purple,
Hmm.
or 91 Pikmin and 1 purple to make it 101, and then that counts. So that gets you introduced to the fact that there are purple Pikmin and you'll need to use them. And then in the fourth region, there is an item that requires 1,000 Pikmin to
Oh,
pick up,
right.
or meaning you need to have 100 purples, or there's no way to touch it. So I need to go back into some of the other lower, earlier levels and farm purples, because there is no purple onion to just farm Pikmin like your red your primary colors.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go down into the underground levels, find purple flowers, and like turn your red ones you don't want anymore into purples.
Hmm.
So that's how that mechanic works.
Interesting.
So next time I play that, I'm going to start farming purples again and get that one item that weighs 1,000 Pikmin.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I don't
You
think
know, I'll say as sorry, go ahead.
I don't think I ever did that the first time I played through. So that'll be the first time I got that item. I know
As much
exactly.
as I loved Pikmin 3, I like Pikmin 2 more.
I
I really
Really?
I
Yeah,
remember
I
the first time I played it, I didn't like the underground levels, but now I like them. Though by the time you get to level 7 and 8, you're like, please be the last one, please be the last one. Crap, it's not the last level.
the one thing that I like more about Pikmin 2 than Pikmin 3, and one thing that I was really missing, it was the first thing that jumped out at me when I played Pikmin 3 was the items that you collect in Pikmin 2 were, they were all licensed little doodads, like
Yeah, that's
Duracell
right.
batteries and Coca-Cola pop caps.
Right.
And that to me gave it such character. Like you really felt like these little things were not on an alien world, but maybe in your backyard. Um, and that to me that elevated that game above Pikmin 3 because it had such charm when you would find something that you could identify, something that you would have in your junk drawer, but it always had like that really clever, name of how these little people would identify it, and I loved that. That gave that game so much character.
Hmm.
And there was a few items that are actually named Mario Paint. It'd be like an art supply.
Yep.
Or there was a book of matches with Bowser on the front.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great game.
Right on. Very cool.
So that
Sorry, go ahead.
so that's pretty much that's what I've been playing. And my wife was gone all weekend at an event, so I pretty much had full reign of the Wii all weekend. So that's when I put most of my hours in during the day or during the weekend.
That's awesome. Very cool. Any other games or anything you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I would like to plug that I did an unboxing of the Squid Sisters amiibo,
That's right.
and so there's two videos out there on the Nintendo Dad's YouTube channel. One is the unboxing of the physical package and showing the details of the amiibo, and then the second video is of gameplay using the amiibo. And instead of just jumping into Splatoon, I started off with what they do in Mario Maker.
Cool. Very cool. I actually haven't watched that yet. I need to check that out.
Yeah, it's kind of funny at the very beginning. I'm starting to talk, do my intro while the Super Mario Maker screen is loading. And I said something like, "And here I'm about to play," and then the game yells, "Super Mario Maker."
Nice.
It was like weirdly timed, and I kind of played with it. So,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was amused. It was fun. So and I do go into Splatoon, and I forgot how to use amiibo support in Splatoon. So I actually had to stop the video, research what I'm supposed to be doing, and then went back and re-recorded the back half. So I look like an idiot midway through the video. But
That's awesome.
It's all there. It's fun.
That's awesome. I'm gonna definitely check that out because I haven't seen that yet.
I think the unboxing is like less than 5 minutes, and then the game video is closer to 15.
Okay. Cool.
Including both Mario Maker and Splatoon.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Yeah, and there's also a video up there as well. It's basically just me and my kids out playing Pokemon Go. So, which is hilarious. Actually, I forgot I did this, but I was going to say this before. Basically, I found my old iPhone 5, which has like no battery life. It's kind of a piece of junk. But I installed Pokemon Go on it, and if your battery power isn't bad enough, try hotspot connecting your another phone to your own phone with a hotspot, and then going out and playing Pokemon Go twice. I went out and I swear like 75% of my battery was gone in like 40 minutes.
Wow.
So that's what me and my son
No external battery will save that.
Yeah, exactly. That like I definitely need that external battery for sure. So yeah, he's actually got his own account. He's 6-year-old kid out there with an iPhone that he's got free reign of while we're out there at least. So
did I tell you what happened to my son's phone back in May?
Didn't he drop it or something? I don't know. I can't remember.
He accidentally threw it out with his lunch trash in the school cafeteria.
Oh, why?
Whoops.
That's terrible.
So he's been phoneless since then. And
yeah.
so we think we'll be able to get him a new phone this weekend. So he's looking forward to starting to play. Where his sisters have both been playing since the start.
Oh man, that is a life lesson that you will never forget.
That I hope so. That was the goal.
That's awesome. Right on. Well, let's head into some listener mail to round things out, shall we?
Sounds good.
We shall.
All right, so I'll read the first one here. This one is from Timothy Alf, and we got this one through Facebook. It says, "How's it going, Nintendo dads? New listener here since E3. I am a Nintendo/gaming dad as well. I've been gaming since the days of gaming on an Atari 5200 with my dad in the mid 80s, through buying my very own SNES using my own hard-earned money, all the way to now with family gaming on Nintendo and the not so friendly gaming for me on the PlayStation. Why I just told you that, I don't know. LOL. So there you go. I do have a question for you. How do you balance your jobs, time with family, gaming, podcasts, and other stuff? How are you able to find time to game? I used to game after all the kids went to bed, and only get a few hours of sleep when I was a younger dad. But now I find after the kids are in bed, I'm ready for sleep myself. Thanks for reading all this. I'm looking forward to your responses, maybe even on the podcast." Right on. So, well, thanks again for your email, Timothy. Jesse, as the most seasoned father here, and the oldest and most I don't know. I'm going to stop with the stereotypes.
Well, I was going to say, if I had kids your age, I probably wouldn't have time to game at all.
Yeah.
With everything else that I have going on. Now that my kids are older, they more or less take care of themselves. I don't have to do every little thing for them like I used to have to. So if I want to say that TV is mine for the next 3 hours, leave me alone, they'll leave me alone.
That's great parenting right there.
Make your own dang dinner. Nice.
The kids are old enough now that at least my daughters will cook dinner. They will want to cook dinner instead of having me come up with something. And what they ended up with, I'm not bad, but
this is like that strategy of like, what the best strategy to load the dishwasher is to do it horribly, and then you'll never have to do it again.
I'm not a bad cook. I'm just not very imaginative. So I do everything as kind of simple as I can.
Okay.
What I'm getting from this is that the trick to great parenting is to just wait them out, and eventually they'll leave you alone.
Just stare at them.
I am not disputing that.
But
the girls are better cooks than I am, and
nice.
In fact, my 14-year-old made this kind of amazing stuffed turkey cream cheese and chive thing the other day. I'm like, this is amazing. Where did you learn this?
That's amazing.
Yeah. So anyway,
I want that right now.
So when your kids are older, it's easier to find the time because they'll get to the point they don't want to do what you want to do, and you just kind of have to learn. Sometimes you have to make them do what you want. Sometimes you let them do their own thing. It's whatever that balance is in your family's life, you find it works.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I said earlier in the show, I let my kid have the Wii U for a while I was upstairs on the Wii. But starting this week, or when I'm done with Pikmin 2, I'm gonna want that Wii U back.
Yeah,
because I'm 2 weeks behind on Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Nice.
I need to finish Chapter 2, man.
Nice.
Which means I've got to grind all my characters and figure out where my weaknesses are, which weapons don't have those weaknesses, so I can try to go in with the best team.
Right on.
But as soon as those enemies find a weakness on you, they will exploit it faster than you will exploit their weaknesses, and you won't have a chance.
Totally. What about you, Adam? What are your secrets? Like, how much gaming do you get?
Very little. My son is 2.
Yeah.
And that's rough.
Yeah.
He's going through the discovery that he doesn't have to go to bed when we want him to go to bed.
Oh. Yeah.
So he usually kicks and screams till about 9:30, and by 9:45 I'm sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
So my gaming time is usually on the weekends, during nap time. It's very infrequent. I just don't have the stamina. So I
Uh,
get what Timothy's saying, because once my son is asleep, then I'm not far behind. And we don't podcast as much as you guys do. I don't know how you guys do weekly. Holy cow. That's hats off to you guys. That's incredible. Um,
we just
we do a
it
monthly podcast.
it's absolutely a cut into your sleep sort of thing. It was
Yeah.
like Thursday morning is like every Thursday morning is the podcast hangover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Podcasting.
Especially if we've had two in a row, like if we have like a double header,
Like
then
last week.
yeah, like last week we did a double header because we had a retro rewind.
I love listening to those shows, by the way, because like Justin just yawns through half of it, and I'm like, I feel you, man.
Yeah, totally.
Like, that's me at
We've
9
learned
o'clock
to
at night,
record the retro rewinds first, but last week we didn't do that because
Oh, that's right. We have done that before in the past because we wanted to make sure that it was top notch. But you're right. It is, man. It can be, and I think that's just part of it, right? Like it's not like we're doing it all the time. Where especially for the podcasting, we've had this question before, and I think very early on we said, listen, if we're going to do this, we need to do it at the same time every single week,
Mhm.
and every once in a while it changes. But for the most part, it's like, all right, it's podcast night. It's Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. It's late enough that the kids are in bed, right? And so that's not really a concern. It's just a matter of, all right, honey, I'm going downstairs. I'm gonna, Wednesday night is podcast night. So, and
Well, you're doing it right, because it's like it's like having a conversation with a drunk person sometimes, and it's hilarious.
it gets pretty ridiculous by the end of it sometimes.
yeah,
For sure.
and I'm the same way. During the school year, they should be in bed by the time we record a show. And
Yeah.
I'm an hour later than Zach.
Yeah.
During the summer, I don't like it, but sometimes they'll be up until 1 in the morning, and I'm like, I'm not going to deal with
Oh my
this.
God.
I tell them they should be going to bed at 10, but
Mhm.
they don't listen. They're teenagers. They don't listen to me anymore.
Those darn kids.
But they know when I'm recording, they don't come down here. They don't make a lot of noise. They give me the space I need, even though if they're still upstairs awake, and I'm fine with that. As long as they don't interrupt the show, I'm not going to get mad at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get space. My 2-year-old hugs me when I'm peeing now, so I don't have any boundaries at all.
I can guarantee you, when he's
I'll just wait him
16, he's not going to do that.
Oh God, I hope not. Like, haven't you learned this yet?
Yeah. I think for me as well, just going back to the question about, about gaming, I think most of my gaming is, especially on the Wii U, like on the TV, most of my gaming is with my son, actually. So like playing through, like Superchargers, Skylanders, we were playing that, playing some Lego Dimensions, anything like that. Is actually the majority of what I'm playing. Every once in a while, I'll come downstairs once the kids are in bed and I'll play some Wii U. But I think that's probably why I gravitate toward my 3DS so much too. So I'll play my 3DS quite a bit, even throughout the day, because it's a little bit more like, it's a little bit more, or it's less distracting. So if the kids are playing together, like my son is off school now, and so if him and his sister are playing with their toys or whatever in the basement, I can sit on the couch and play that while they're playing, and it's not that big of a deal. So I think that's, and just including them as much as I can. Like I have gone on a walk with my kids playing Pokemon Go almost every single day this week, which is crazy considering like how much, like we try and get out every day, but it's been like this thing where my son's actually like, Dad, let's go for a walk. I want to go over to the Drowsy Nest, because there's like a bunch of Drowsy that are like in the park across the street.
Wow.
And that's what we ended up calling it, right? So that's there's like a spawn point over there, I think. So we will walk across the street and do that, which is fun. So yeah, it's making a priority, I think, is really what it is, and not necessarily getting too worked up if you don't get that time in for a while, and just saying, you know what, I actually had a somebody who was just kind of helping me organize my time better, and one of the first things that she said to me was, listen, you're going to go crazy if you have not scheduled time to do the things that you love, and it doesn't need to be very much time, but then you won't feel bad about it, and okay, this amount of time I have set this time aside for me to play video games, right? I have
Mhm.
scheduled my time for me to play video games for an hour and a half twice a week. And that way I know that all this other stuff I have to get done, it'll get done, but this is my time to play video games, so nobody talk to me about it. Uh, and to have that sort of arrangement with my wife maybe, or whatever it was at the time, that was a big deal as well, as far as helping me
Mhm.
feel balanced. So right on.
Yeah, do you have her number?
She's actually an ADHD coach, so
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was actually part of a scholarship and stuff like that. But it was
Mhm.
yeah, lots of good life lessons there. I feel like
Cool.
everybody should have like a life coach at one point, just to
Yeah.
like organize themselves. It was really helpful. But right on. Jesse, do you want to read the next email for us, man?
Sure. I'm trying to find the end. Okay,
It says, "Hey dads."
this is from Brian Welch
Oh, and the beard.
and the beard.
And the beard, of course. He
Who-
actually did say that.
Who's the beard? I don't remember.
Him, Adam, Brian Welch, the beard. Of course, the beard of
Okay.
the South.
Okay.
I don't know. The
Hey-
beard on the internet.
Hey,
Anyways.
dads, the beard and I thought we would take you up on your invitation to provide some podcast and Patreon feedback. First, I'd really enjoyed the new segments on the Retro Rewind this past episode. I think it's a good direction for those episodes. I love the videos Cass does, and the artwork by Adam is always fun to see revealed.
Hey.
Congratulations, Adam. You got to mention.
Thank you. Thank you.
The line chat is a great feature for the supporters of the podcast. It has been fun to interact with the community in that way. I think you guys are doing a great job. I love the guests you've all brought on to the podcast. It sounds like you've gotten some negative feedback, but just know that I've really enjoyed watching the show grow and evolve and supporting it in my small way. What I appreciate about the Nintendo Dads podcast is that you are all real people with non-Tendo jobs. So I don't compare you to Game Explain or IGN, and that's a good thing because I appreciate your perspectives as dads, and that, like many of us, we can't always delve into all the games that come out. Much like you all, we have to prioritize and limit our game consumption. So, kind of related to the last question.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just wanted you all to know that I appreciate your perspectives in that way, and hope you never feel too much pressure from the fans to become more like the IGNs of the internet. You have a unique parenting perspective. Lean into that. That's my 2 cents anyway. I like the idea of kids reviewing games. That could be fun. Stay fresh.
Right on, Brian Welch. Thank you, sir. Lots and lots of very kind things there. So I appreciate the email, and I'm glad to hear that the retro rewind changes. That was one thing that Justin, that we all had kind of talked about, was we wanted to bring a little bit more structure and polish to that. So hopefully you guys had a chance to listen to the most recent retro rewind and see those, and we're going to continue to try and polish that up a little bit. And again, I think too, I don't know, Adam, as kind of an outsider, and I know this is a little bit of navel gazing almost, but I don't know, like, would you agree with this, or like, what do you think? Like, as far as things, I kind of like the idea of, like, okay, sometimes it does feel like we want to be like, not that we want to be the next IGN or anything. That's ridiculous, but just that we're like constantly trying to improve.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe you kind of have that experience too a little bit.
Well, first of all, I'll say that I discovered you guys last fall on a trip to my in-laws, and we were just listening to it in the car. And I think the great thing about your show is it is such a fan propelled experience. Like, it doesn't need to be like a news outlet. You can hear that you guys love this and you grew up with it, and it's very identifiable because there's a lot of people like us. And that's one thing that John and I figured out when we started Megadads, was there are so many people in our demographic that are just looking for something to bond with or click with.
Yep.
Because we grew up in the age where gaming wasn't cool. Like, it took a long time for this to really, for nerd culture be what it is, and be so dominant as it is today. So a lot of our teenage years and early 20s and things like that were, you were a dork, and being a dork wasn't cool. So I think it's really cool to to listen to your guys' show, and you're just so authentic about, what you love, and you
Mhm.
geek out in, best possible way, and you're just super passionate about it. So I agree. Don't strive to be IGN. Be what you are, and just be real about it. And that's what's so fun to listen to, because when I listen to you guys, it's like I'm in a room with my buddies.
Mhm.
It's just really cool.
I think
As
it's
far as
sorry, go ahead. Keep going.
Go ahead. To say, as far as
No.
our show, we're just a couple of idiots. We just it's just an excuse to hang out and just goof around, and um, we're not really looking to improve. We're just looking to let it out. So
Totally. Yeah, totally. And that's the thing, is that it's kind of gotten to the point where like we've hit a rhythm where we're letting it out on a pretty consistent basis.
mhm.
That's not going to be taken out of context ever, right? And basically it's gotten to the point where like, okay, well, now like perfecting the craft almost, right? And I think
Mhm.
it is always nice to hear feedback and to know. I like the idea as well. You said again, kids reviewing games, I think could be really fun. So I'm gonna actually really try that this week. Just sit him down and be like, all right, Nick, let's review a game or something like that, because that'd be cool. So
Yeah,
right on, man.
my kids have expressed interest in doing that as well, and I told them, well, when if you get to the point where you want to do that, I actually kind of outlined what I want them to do, because my kids are older. I want them to be more structured. I want them to actually put their thoughts on paper as if they're writing an article for my website,
Yeah.
and then they can either I could post it on the VG Tribune, or after some edits, or I can have them then use that as a soundboard. We can either start with reading from it, or just using it to kind of as topic lists and just have a conversation about it. We haven't gotten that far ahead, because they haven't gotten to the point of actually writing down thoughts. But
Yeah.
at least
It's interesting too.
we're talking about that, though. At least we got that far.
It would be interesting too, as far as as far as developing like see, this is my like psychologist side coming out. It would be interesting to come up with a very specific set of like questions that you could ask a kid in order to have them, you sort of organically come up with a review, but like have very specific questions like, okay, well, what did you think about this, like how did you like this, and have those sorts of things, those sorts of questions set aside. So then I could, like, if I were to sit down with Nick, for example, and be like, all right, I'm going to do this. Here's this set of questions that I know I can ask him. And this is basically the kind of stuff that you would want in a kid's review of a game. So
I basically told, I think at least the younger two, my oldest one, I don't think cares. But they both said if I ever go to E3 again, they want to come with.
nice.
So I told them, one, you got to be 17, and two, you got to work towards your own credentials. You just can't ride mine. So that means you want to go to E3, you need to have stuff written down and published on the website.
Yeah. Nice. So
gives them something to work toward.
I like it. Yeah. They earn your way in, kid. Right on.
Because they probably won't get they probably won't be able to get credentials if they're just writing on mine. They're going to have to earn their own.
Yeah, seriously. Well, right on, man. I think that about does it for our show. Adam, just as we kind of round out the show here, we've had you on before and did our community spotlight segment, and I don't have a bumper here anyways. But
that's probably a good thing, because we wanted to get rid of that last bumper.
Yeah. Hey, man. What I have this. What's this one do right here?
It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you are going to get.
All right, there you go.
Irony for pushing around a button and getting that.
So there you go. That I had that laying around somewhere. Tell us a little bit about Mega Dads. Just remind people, where can we go for Mega Dads? What do you do on the internet? All that kind of stuff.
Mega Dads that's me and my brother John. It's our brainchild. It's a website not dissimilar to what you guys do. We're two dads who have grown up gaming. We're kind of like a three-pronged deal. We've got the monthly podcast, which is Mega Dads Live. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. We also have a web comic that I illustrate, which is monthly. That's Megadads 2D. And then the website itself is megadads.org. And that's kind of where you can find everything. So, like I said, we're just a couple of doofuses and just trying to have some fun and, let it all out. So,
I have to say too, like a lot of times I love reading your blog posts too on the website, because often they like for like a geeky dad website, they are often very what's the word I'm looking for? Just very sort of like, you would expect it to be like, oh hey, it's derpy geek stuff and whatever, but it's always a lot more like, clearly like some more like pondering almost is going on, and like,
sure.
more contemplative. And
The blogs are usually like more parenting centric. Like our podcast is the biggest gaming thing that we do.
Yeah.
The comic is the dumbest thing that we do. And then the blogs are
funny too, by the way. I like them.
Thank you. And then the blogs are, it's talking about things like, what do you do when your kid hits you, which is what I'm going through right now.
Yeah.
And that's tough. Mm-hmm. So it's taking a humorous approach, and we're all going through this together. We're all struggling as parents. Nobody knows how to do it, so we try to put a humorous spin on it. But yeah, the blog is definitely the more mature aspect of what we do, if you can even call it mature.
Yeah. No, I definitely enjoy those all the time. I really like those for sure. So
cool. Thank you.
Very cool. So everybody go and check them out, megadads.org, and check out Adam's artwork as well. He's working on some cool your Mario set of
yeah. I'm doing a series of 4 posters that are based on different Super Mario levels, and I'm 3 out of 4 done right now. So
nice.
I'm having a lot of fun with that.
Right on, man. Well, thanks again for being on the show. It's been great having you on.
Thank you.
Yeah, right on. Of course, I'm gonna cue the music.
Before we ended, I wanted to throw in one last little Pokemon Go story that I forgot about earlier.
Okay, the music's playing.
Okay,
that's okay.
So my boss and I have been kind of going back and forth on vacations, so we haven't seen each other in probably 2 months. So we finally, we got into work on Tuesday. It's the first time we've seen each other for a while. I get up, I walk into his office, and went, "Ooh, my legs hurt." And then he goes, oh, "Pokemon Go, huh?" And then and I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I downloaded it last night."
That's awesome.
Everybody's doing it.
I saw a meme the other day, or that was basically like a Pokemon meme, and it was basically the scene from The Matrix, and it's like, "Why do my legs hurt?" Because you've never used them before.
Right.
Which I thought was hilarious. So right on. Everybody go and catch some more Pokemon. Oh, hang on. Oh, never mind. It's still working. There we go. We're good. Crisis averted. Go out and catch some Pokemon. It's a good time. Of course, if you want to follow us on all of our Pokemon Go escapades. I don't know. Is that a word? Sure. We'll say this. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram at Nintendo Dads. You can email us, nintendodads@gmail.com. You can find us here every Wednesday night on youtube.com/c/nintendodads/live. You can call in and leave us a voicemail, which no one ever does. No one ever emails us. I don't know what's 929 or calls us. Poor Winifred on the phone lines. She's just sitting there waiting for your call. 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. If you want to buy some sweet Nintendo Dads merch, go to tiny.cc/Nintendo Dads store. Big thanks to OC Music OC Remix for our music throughout the show, as well as to Carter Johnson for our amazing artwork, and Adam Leonard as well. If you want to change the world, which everybody does, go over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. Written reviews are even better. And if you want to subscribe, go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and of course VGTribune.com. For me, for Jesse, for Adam, and for the missing Justin, we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Right on. Done. Woo, that was a short show. It felt really short. Probably